Today we're going to be taking this really simple clip and completely transforming it to have this really sick vertigo effect. What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. This is day 3 of uploading every single day for the month of May. So if you're not already subscribed, be sure to be subscribed. There's gonna be a lot more tutorials that are super sick like this throughout the course of the month. If you guys could do me a favor real quick, drop a like on this video and let's get into the tutorial. So starting off, the footage was just like graded really weird. I think it was just dark. So I basically went ahead, turned up the exposure a decent amount, and I added my filmic LUT for my essentials bundle. If you're interested in that, I'll have a link down below. Basically just fixing up the color grading of the footage. That way it just doesn't look super dark and boring. So if you guys aren't already familiar with the vertigo effect, most of the time it's done in camera where you're zooming in but walking back at the same time. That way the subject's staying in the same spot. But we're gonna kind of recreate that digitally. So to do that, we're gonna need to rotoscope out our subject. So that's actually the first step, is to rotoscope out your subject, and then we're gonna replace where the subject was and make it look like the buildings were only there and there was no person there at all. So to do that, do a good rotoscope of your subject. Once you have that, go ahead and click freeze. Basically that's gonna lock in your rotoscope. And then on your clip, once it's just the subject, you're gonna wanna duplicate that clip one time and delete the rotoscope from that layer, and then duplicate that rotoscope layer one more time. Go ahead, go back into the rotoscope by double clicking on the composition itself, just on the video footage, and then invert the selection. That way there's a missing part actually where the subject is and the background is still there. And then tweak with the settings so you don't see any like remaining parts of the subject. You're probably gonna wanna shift the edge outwards as I'm doing here. You can see now it doesn't look like there's any like hair or edge of the body other than like the black outline, and then just click refreeze. Once you've done that, be sure to turn off all the layers besides the layer where there's a missing subject. So it's either gonna be black or transparent depending on which setting you have in After Effects right now. Then go to Content Aware Fill and click Generate Fill Layer. And this process can take a few minutes, but once you have it done, you should see that you can't really tell that there was ever a subject there. It might be a little bit blurry or have like a little distortion, but that doesn't matter too much. It's just gonna mask it for a little bit and it really helps sell the effect. Then you're gonna wanna highlight that fill layer and then the layer with the missing subject and pre-compose them. So to start getting that vertigo effect, let's start off by making sure motion blur is enabled. That's gonna help out a lot. And then scaling up the subject a decent amount at the start. You're gonna wanna keyframe that and then go a decent amount forward and then bring it back down to 100%. And then you're gonna do the exact opposite on the background layer. Let's go ahead and turn off the other background layer for a second. And you're gonna want to add motion tile onto this because obviously there's just a black border around that. And motion tile is gonna help hide that a lot. Turn the output width and height to around 300 depending on your footage, and then click mirror edges. I keyframed it somewhere around 50 and then brought it back up to 100, and then went ahead and easy eased both of those sets of keyframes. Now we have something a little bit closer to that vertigo effect. It's still not quite what we want, but it is getting there. So the next step to really sell the effect is to drag on optics compensation. You're gonna wanna do that to the Content Aware Fill layer. Make sure to click reverse lens distortion and then start to crank up that field of view at the beginning and then keyframe it to 0 at the end. I went ahead and easy ease those as well. And then go into the graph editor and really play with the keyframes and try to smooth it out and make it feel a little bit more fluid. This is really gonna help sell the effect. And then to blur the background a little bit more, I'm going to add RSMB onto that Content Aware Fill layer. I think that helps out a lot. It just kind of blurs everything and makes the motion just a little bit smoother. And then next, I'm gonna add an adjustment layer, drag that all the way to the top, and then add radial blur on top of that. We're gonna go ahead and turn the radial blur from spin to zoom, and then keyframe the amount up at the beginning, a decent amount. Go right before the effect ends, keyframe it down to like something like 10, and then go a little bit after the effect ends, and then keyframe it to 0. That's also just gonna help hide the imperfections in the effect itself, and I think sell kind of that zooming out, zooming in motion. And then just to finish it off a little bit more, added another adjustment layer, went to shake sauce, added the XY shake light, and then keyframed the position and rotation amplitude from their default values to 0 at the end of the effect. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you guys in this tutorial. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make it all the way to the end. Be sure to drop a like and a comment on what tutorial I should do next. Peace.